Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all well. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make one of these seed bead rings that I've designed. So this is what they look like. This one. So they are made entirely using size 11 seed beads. And it's a really good structure, like it doesn't really collapse, it stays in a good ring shape. And I do have a tutorial already for how to do the bracelet that matches like this, so it's double-sided as well. It was one of the first videos I ever posted, so it might not be the best. So I'm going to remake it today and I'm going to show you how to join it together to either make a bangle all joined together or a ring like this. So let's get started. So to make one of these rings you will need some size 11 seed beads, so you'll need whatever colour you want to do around the outside, like the gunmetal here and the purple here, and whatever colour or colours you want to be in the middle. So on this one I've done one colour all the way around the middle, on this one I've done different shades of purple and green, and like this one I did a mix as well. So you'll need some size 11 seed beads. I'm going to be using some silver for around the outside and then a rainbow mix for the middle. And the rainbow mix is available on my shop at the minute. I've added a few beads on there, so I'll leave that in the link below if you want to check it out. You'll also need your beading thread. Fireline does work really well for this because it holds the structure of the ring really well, but other beading threads will work too. And a needle. Let's get started. So I started by threading my needle with about 42 inches of thread, but that's really going to vary depending on how big you want your ring to be. I'm going to start by picking up one of your outer colour, one of your middle colour, one of your outer colour and one of your middle colour, like that, so alternating between your outer colour and your middle colour, and then slide those down. You can leave a few inches, 6 or 7 inches here, just hold the beads here and then sew back up through the first one. That's going to bring them into a little loop like this. And I'm going to move through the next one in the circle, like that. I'm going to work across this way because these are my middle colour, so what you need to be exiting now out of one of your middle colour beads. So the silver is going to go all the way around the edge and these are the ones that run down the middle. So you need to be exiting out of one of those, and then I'm just going to move my tail thread through the bead opposite it. You don't have to do that, but it just means that when you're holding it, you're like working opposite yourself and your piece isn't like being pulled down all the time by your tail thread coming out of one of these other beads. So then we're just going to do right angle weave. So we're going to pick up 3 beads. We're going to pick up an outer colour, a middle colour and an outer colour, and you're going to go back into this bead that you're coming out of on the other side. So your thread's coming out of this side of it, you're going to go into it on the other side. So you have this. Now I'm going to move through the bottom silver bead and through the one on the side. So before you add more beads, each time you always need to be coming out of one of these middle colour beads. So again, you're going to pick up an outer colour, a middle and an outer. Go back into that bead that you're coming out of on the other side. So you have this, and then you're going to sew through the next outer colour and through the next middle bead, so through the next 2 beads. Okay, so you have this, so again picking up an outer colour and a middle colour and an outer colour and going back into that bead that you're coming out of on the opposite side like that, and then you're going to pass through the next 2 beads as well. So that's it, so you're just going to keep doing that. It's right angle weave, and you're going to keep doing that, making sure that you're picking up outer colour, middle colour, outer colour every time so that your pattern stays correct and these beads stay running down the middle. And you need to do that until you've got the length that you need, and so measure around your finger and find out what length you need. So for example, that would be tight, but say I needed 2 inches, I would keep going with this. I'd double it, so I'd go to 4 inches, and then it's important with this pattern to remember that it shrinks quite a lot when you do the next step. So if I need 4 inches, I'm going to add at least ½ an inch to another inch on top of that in order to keep it the right size, because it will shrink quite a lot. It might take a bit of experimenting to figure out how much it's going to shrink, but I usually add on at least ½ an inch onto the length that I need. So I hope that makes sense. So go ahead and get the length that you need to wrap it around your finger 2 times and a little extra, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I've gone ahead and got to double the length that I need, and then I've added an extra ½ an inch, so this is the length that I need. So it should wrap around the finger that you want it to go on twice like that, and then you should have some spare in order for it to shrink. So what we're going to do now, so you should, like always, be coming out of one of these middle beads, so you're just going to move into, I'm coming out the top of this one, so I'm just going to move into this outside bead, so silver in my case. So I'm coming out of one of those silver beads. Now you need to fold it in half, so you need to run from one end to the other with your thumb along it, making sure it's not twisted. You want it to be flat like this, and fold it. So your 2 ends where your tail thread is and where your working thread is, so you hold those 2 ends together. Making sure that it's not twisted, it's just looping round. I'm holding my 2 ends together. Here's the bead that my working thread is coming out of, and my tail thread's coming out down here somewhere. So I'm coming out of this first. I'm just going to refer to them as the silver beads, but whatever outer colour you're doing. So I'm coming out of the first silver bead on this, we'll call it the back and the front. So on the back half, I'm coming out of this silver bead, the first one. I'm going to go straight into the first silver bead on the front half, so straight through that one there. Slowly, just making sure it doesn't get caught underneath. So now I'm coming out of the first silver bead on the front half. I'm going to go into the next silver bead on the back. That. Okay. So we're coming out of a silver bead on the back. I'm going to go into the next one on the front. There. Don't pull it too tight at this point, you can leave your tension quite loose. So now we're coming out of the silver bead on the front, we're going to go into the next silver bead on the back, then into the next silver bead on the front. So I'm coming out the one on the front, now you're going to go into the next silver bead on the back, and if you can at the same time, sometimes you'll be able to go through the next one on the front after that. So like diagonally, you're coming out of this front one, you're going to go through the next one on the back and the next one on the front. Basically, all the way down this side, keep holding it, make sure these these bits don't get twisted, keep it flat and straight. And if you ever need to split it again, like to see, you know, am I coming out the front or the back? I'm coming out the front. So I'm going to go into the next bead on the back and then the next bead on the front. Like that. And you need to do that all the way down, zigzagging. So we're coming out the front into the one on the back, the next one on the front, the next one on the back, the next one on the front, back, all the way along. And then I'll show you how to do this bit at the end here where it just meets at the end and it's not quite clear which bead you need to go through. So go all the way along and then I'll show you how to do that part. Oh, and by the way, I'm holding it like this so that hopefully you can see it on the camera, but when I do it myself I actually hold it like this way around, so that might be easier for some of you. I'll hold it like this so I'm working forwards rather than sideways, which is a bit awkward. So I'll just go from left, right, left, right, left, right instead of front, back, if you know what I mean. So I'm coming out of the left hand side, I'll go from the next one in the right hand side, then the next one in the left hand side, and so on. So just wanted to share that in case you found that uncomfortable to hold it the way I was holding it. Okay, so I'm almost at the end here, and like as you can see, where it's folded at the end, it gets a bit like hard to see which is the front and which is the back because it's joined obviously. So I'm just finishing off, so I'm coming out of this side, I'm going to go into this side and then into the one on the front like that. So I've just come out of one this side, so I'm going to go into the next one on the other side, and now this next bead here looks like it's sort of facing the wrong way. It looks like you're not going to be able to go through it that way, but you can. So you've come out of this one, you're going to go into this one as if it's facing the right way, so go through the back of the bead like that, and you can sort of turn it to make it face the way you want it to, like that. So that's your last bead, and then you can pull it tight. Now there's a point when you pull it tight at which it will start to go out of shape. So as you pull it, you'll feel the thread come through, and then I'm going to pull it too tight and it's going to do this. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's really tight and it's making it lay wobbly and not flat. So I'm just going to pull some of that thread back out, make the tension nice again until it's going to sit flat like that. See, if I pull it too tight, it's bunching up, so just pull it back out till it's like this. Now we're going to sew up the other side. Okay, so we're coming out of that last silver bead on the end. So you should be able to go down through whatever your middle colour is, through this middle colour bead right at the end, right at the top of the piece, like that. I'm going to turn it over so I can see this open side. So this is the side we've closed up, and this is the open side. So I'm coming out of this one, this yellowy coloured one here. Whichever one of these two on the end sits closest to you, so I know they're like right next to each other, but this one sits slightly closer, so I'm going to go through that one first. So that's my front bead. Then, as always, I'm just going to do the same thing again. So now I'm going to go into the back one. Okay, and then I'm going to go into the next one on the front. Next one on the back. Followed by the next one on the front. And it's the same as the other side, and it's going to be slightly easier to hold. And so I'm coming out of the front, you're going to go into the next one on the back, front, and you're just going to zigzag all the way along like we did last time, and then again I'll show you what to do at the end. I forgot to say, on this side, as you're going along, make sure you're pulling it tight all the time. Not like the first side where we left the tension a little bit looser. This side you need to be pulling it tight all the time as you go along. So I'm at the end, and this end's a little bit easier anyway because it's not the end that was folded in half, it's like the open end, so it's easy to see that this is going to be the last bead you go through because it sits quite a bit higher than the others. So just carry on zigzagging till you go through that very last bead. Okay, and then pull it tight again. So it should be all closed up like this. Those silver beads should all be closed up, and if yours isn't, that means you haven't been pulling it tight enough as you go along. You may be able to do it from here, but you might have to undo some of it in order to pull it all tight, because it gets quite tight in there and hard to pull through the thread once you've got too far along. Basically this is what we've got, so it's a really nice structured thing. And so as you can see how much it's shrunk from where we started, and so if you want to make a bracelet, it's quite time consuming because you have to make at least double this, and this has shrunk quite a lot, so it's quite a time consuming project for a bracelet. So the next thing we're going to do is thread your needle onto your tail thread now, and we're going to tie that one off and cut it off so that it's out of the way completely. So I've threaded my needle onto my tail thread, which is your shorter thread, not the one you're working with. And coming out of this one here at the end, all I'm going to do is take my needle underneath the thread that connects the blue one to the silver one. So there's a thread there. I don't know if you can see it on here, but you'll be able to see it on your own piece. A thread that connects the blue bead to the silver bead. Put your needle under that, pull it down and go through that loop 2 times. Pull it down until you feel the knot tighten into place, and then move your needle down this side, zigzagging back to front. Personally, I only tie 1 knot in this project with my tail thread because it's so, like, all the beads have been gone through so many times that it's just not going to come undone. But you can tie more knots if you want to, so then you can just cut that off once you've moved away from where you tied your knot. Okay, and then you're going to thread your needle back onto your working thread. So my needle's back on my working thread and it's coming out of this silver one here. I'm going to move down into this one that's sticking out on the end, right underneath it. Okay, and now zoom out a little bit. Now you're going to, turn it into a ring, so you're going to bend the 2 ends together, don't let it get twisted. It would be quite hard to twist it anyway because it's not that flexible. So bend the 2 ends together like this. So hold it like this. It's a bit hard to hold. I'm going to hold it like this. See, I haven't planned this very well. You see how I've got 2 colours the same here? They're going to be next to each other. I didn't really think that through. So now you're going to pick up 1 silver. So you're coming out the top of this one. You're going to go into the first middle colour bead on this side. So not the silver ones, the ones going down the middle. So I'm going to go into the top of that one on that side, like that. Now I'm going to pick up another silver, and I'm coming out the bottom of this bead this time. I'm going to go into the bottom of this one on the other side. Okay, now I have this. Now I'm going to circle through those 4 beads again. So through the silver one on the top and down through that orangey coloured one on the side, through the silver one on the bottom and back up through that orangey one on the other side. Pull that tight. Now we've got this. See, I really should have planned that better. Oh well. So now you're going to move your needle. You're coming out of the top of this orangey one, or whatever colour yours is. You're going to go into the silver one above it. Okay, now you're going to turn it so you can see the inside of your ring. It's going to be kind of hard to show you, but I'm coming out of this silver one here, this first silver one. I'm going to go into the middle colour bead that's in the inner ring that's right next to it. So in my case, I'm coming out of this one and it's this blue one that sits right above it. Okay, now you're going to pick up silver. So I'm coming out of this blue one. These orange ones that you can see underneath, they're on the outer edge. You're only working with, if you turn it like this way, you'll be able to see you're only working with these ones that stick up in the middle. So we're coming out of the blue one. So the first one on this side is this green one. So you're going to go through that one, like that, and then pick up another silver. Keeps focusing on the wrong part of the ring. It's really hard to show the middle. So we're coming out the bottom of this green one now. We're going to go into the bottom of this blue one that we came out of. Pull that tight, and then like we did on the top, I'm going to go through those beads again. So through the silver one, down through the green one, through the silver one, and up through the blue one again. Pull in that tight. Okay, so I'm coming out the top of the blue one in here. I'm going to move up and to the right through the first silver one. Up and to the right. It's important that you go to the right and not the left. So I'm now coming out of here on the top of the ring. Now I'm going to move, if I turn your thing on the side now, so I'm coming out of this bead here, I'm going to go down through whichever middle colour bead is right next to the one I'm coming out of, so this purple one in my case. So I'm coming out of this purple one. Now I'm going to move into the next silver one in this circle. So we're back on our right angle weave unit. So this, and this makes up a little unit. So I'm going to go into the next one in this little unit. So forwards into this one. Pull it tight. Okay, now you need to turn it so you're looking at it like from the top again. So I'm coming out of this one here. And this is part of the front of the ring, not the middle. So this is part of the front, not the back of the ring. So you need to go into the next silver bead that's in the back of the ring, or the middle circle of the ring, if you know what I mean. So these are all on the outer edge and these are on the inside. So I'm coming out of this one, I'm going to go into this next one, which is, you know, the one we just added in the middle. It's not going to look like it wants to go there, but it will pop into place. And so now you need to go into that next silver bead on the outer side, and even though it looks like it should be that one, we haven't gone through this one yet, so it's the one right next to it right there. So I know this is a bit complicated to follow, but as long as you join it together in a way that it looks seamless enough for how you want it to look, then that's fine. So now you're coming out of this one, you're going to go into the next one. And when you pull that tight, it should sort of pop into place and you can't really see too much where it's joined. So I'm going to move through one more silver bead on the top. Now I'm going to move across from this side to the other side, so I'm just going to come down through the next centre bead right next to the silver one that I'm coming out of. Turn it round and I'm going to go up into the silver bead next to it. So I'm on the other side now, because this side hasn't been joined together. So I'm coming out the front one, so I'm going to go into the next one at the back, like that, and then the next one at the front, and then it's the one at the back that we just added, so it's sort of sitting right behind that one that we're coming out of. That's the awkward one that doesn't look like it wants to fit, and then into the next one on the front. Pull that really tight, sort of push them into place. So then it's all joined up. Okay, so like I said, I mean, that's how I join it together. I know it's really hard sometimes to see. It's really hard to show which beads I'm going through when it's so small and like awkward, because the ring's hard to show the inside and the outside. But hopefully you got the gist of it, and like I said, as long as you join it together in a way that it's not really noticeable, or even you could like wear the join at the back of your finger. So that's how I make that, and then we're just going to tie off this thread the same exact way that you did with your tail thread. So go ahead and do that, and then we're finished. Okay, so once you've tied off your threads, then that's the ring finished. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're able to make one of these. So let's have a look at them again. So this is purple one, purple and green. And we've got this one. These would be great if you made some matching colours. You could do stacking rings. And then this one is the one that we made in the video. I like the different colours in the band. I think it looks really nice when you wear it like this. Yeah, I think this one's my favourite for sure. And I think the all clear beads help as well. It looks more like a gemstone or something like that. So that's the finished rings. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. Please like this video if you did, and subscribe to see more of my videos, and comment down below what else you'd like to see or if you enjoyed. And follow me on Instagram at Beading by Hannah. And like I said, I've got this mix that I used for my rainbow ring today. I've got that in my shop at the minute, so I'll leave the link for that in the description box as well. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.